and welcome back to the LCS Academy Summer Split. We're on day 2, and I thought I was excited yesterday, you two, but after seeing how these teams performed yesterday, I'm even more pumped up for today. I cannot wait to see what we have ahead of us. My name is Sierra Dawn, your host for today, joined with the ever so lovely Joshi and Deserex. Welcome back, you two. Joshi, it was a lot of fun yesterday being on desk with you two.
Yeah, we saw some crazy games going through yesterday. Team Liquid absolutely speed running through the competition, and honestly, with them coming right on back to the A stream today, it's not unusual. It wouldn't be unexpected if we saw the exact same thing happen again.
I'm just saying, it was a day of 2 O's. It's a wild way to start the summer splits here.
Yeah, there was definitely teams that came out here and made an impact. I mean, there was definitely ones that we expected. I mean, Joshi, you already said Team Liquid, but I'll say it again. We expected them to come out here and show us why they won Proving Grounds, and they did, and I'm expecting to see that going into today. But 2-0s across the board. Summer's been working really well for a couple of people here, Deserex.
Yeah, it's been working pretty well to begin, but we got to talk about something else on the side, because running parallel to this, you know, you have Academy, you also have Proving Grounds. We're leading into that now. Proving Grounds itself, for those of you who don't know, is sort of this culmination between Academy and Amateur. It's like a playoffs for both of them at once. For Academy, to get seeded, it's just the regular season that you're seeing right now. For Amateur, it's this tournament on your screen. It is the Proving Ground Circuit Qualifiers. Now, there's 2 of these that go on, and some of the best storylines really do unfold in the Proving Grounds. You can see some of the teams on your screen, one of them being Maryville University. If you know Odd Orange from TLA in 2019, part of that roster. Niles from last year, also part of that roster. Very, very hype thing for that one. More rosters onto that. 100 Thieves Next is another one that comes out to me because they fast-track talent like no tomorrow. They did it with Tenacity. They did it with Kenby. They have another high-value prospect in General Sniper, Viper's brother, who has been popping off in the amateur scene. And not just that, you know, not just these big names, but a lot of these grassroots teams where it's just 5 guys getting their coach friends together, no financial backing whatsoever, and trying to make a run with it. It is a lot of fun stuff to see the Proving Grounds unfold, because it is the future of North America. It's the development of North America. If you want a glimpse at the pipeline of NA, watch the Proving Grounds Circuit Qualifiers.
Yeah, it's also a good opportunity for some of our players to kind of prove that they deserve an Academy spot, right? One of the teams that jumps out to me, Jake's Kittens. You got Ryoma still playing on it. Prismal's taking an opportunity to try and play support. We saw Insanity have an opportunity to play last time around with, I believe it was 100 Thieves Next. And all of these players were like, yeah, we used to be at the top level competition. We still got it, and this is our way to kind of get back in. So there's some new faces, there's some old faces, but we got tons of new talent working their way up in order to try and play on this stage.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is, right? It's the development pipeline. We get to see starting out, then make it to Academy to hopefully make it onto LCS. And there's a lot of great talent in Academy to be looking for. So many great players, and we have just a couple of the ones that we are keeping our eyes on going forward into the summer split. A couple of the names for these players to watch out for, I'm sure everyone is very familiar with, because there is some spots that are definitely deserved by these people already in LCS. I have to ask, though, who's picking who over here? I know my pick. Deserex, who did you say that you are watching going forward?
So my pick has to be Sheedan. He was rank 1 and 2 challenger this year. You know, he's coming back from that ban he had due to some behavioral issues, but it's okay. You know, we saw him back in 2020 and Unified for the UPL, and some parts when he was on Team Noble, some parts when he was on Team Area of Effect before they merged into Immortals, and he was popping off. He was very high kill, high risk, but high reward because he could carry your team. I think he's incredibly capable, and I want to see what C9 Academy can do with him in the grand scheme of things, because he's quite deadly. I know he didn't have the best play yesterday, but that's okay. It's about development in Academy, and they're still shaping him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes in as a very natural villain to the scene as well.
Yeah,
right? We know that he's coming in. He's replacing Malice, who had a very tumultuous history throughout his League of Legends career, we can say. And replacing Malice with Shaden just means that we have another potential villain on the horizon as somebody that could really build up some big stories if they start having success.
That's definitely an interesting story to be watching, too, exactly how that unfolds. But then, with that being Deserex's pick, I'm assuming then here, Ayla is yours, Joshi. And honestly, really good pick, because already what we've seen from Ayla has been phenomenal.
It's a bit of a cheating answer, right? Like, who am I excited
Yeah.
to see? Well, I'm excited to see the best player in the entire league, right? He looks super, super good. Played for Team Liquid LCS ever since he was able to come back to play with Team Liquid Academy. They've been winning basically nonstop. They won Proving Grounds. It's only a matter of time before this player finds an opportunity to play at an even higher level. And so I'm going to keep being excited to watch his growth as he continues to play throughout Academy until we no longer get to do it.
Which is valid, which then means the last one is for me. I did say Pretty. A little bit of recency bias, but Pretty had a phenomenal game yesterday. Being able to sit down with him as well about just future plans and stuff, that's always something that hits home for me, and I like to see these players succeed as we go on into summer and I get a chance to talk with everyone. Then this is going to start getting to be a really difficult question for me because I want to root for everyone. But right now, I'm going to say Pretty is my player to watch, and I am really excited to see how he progresses going forward as well. But it's not just our answers. We do have an opportunity to see what players our Path to LCS channel talent has selected for us. And I'm not really surprised by these answers either. Who do we think is picking each person here, Deserex?
Okay, I think. Okay, so it's Cubby, Mazel, and Magical, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna say Magical pick Chad, Cubby pick Sheedan, and Mazel pick Bradley. That's my go. I know Cubby is also hyped up on the Sheedan. Magical's just, dude, he's just a meme lord. He would pick Chad just for the name alone, and Bradley's a god. I don't know too much about why Mazel will go that path, but I just know Bradley's godly. You saw the play he did yesterday.
Yeah, and we also got to remember, Cubby and I did an expansion tournament, or like draft of potential players. Shaden was his first overall pick, right? Even over everybody else that already had a great stint in Academy. Cubby is really, really high on this guy, and we will see whether he pays off. It's not his first time playing a little bit of competitive, and now he's playing in a more structured environment. Hopefully we'll have some opportunities to continue growing. And we know, Bradley and Chad, there are some people who are still really raw talent, but can push their way towards the top of the field pretty easily.
Yeah, well, a trend that I'm seeing here in these players to watch is there's a couple of them coming from Team Liquid, and I think rightfully so. They performed amazing yesterday, and their ability to just stay on the edge, calculate damage, and just how close calls some of these were was phenomenal here, Yoshi.
Yeah, just seeing how well they were able to dance around and the number of times they got away with murder, right? They would find a kill, and then they would just walk away with less than 100 HP. We see it right now. We see it a couple times, and Jan and Ayla were just absolutely blowing up Array and Chime in every single one of these 2v2s. As we said, dancing around the very edge, looking for every little bit that they can contribute. And that's the mark of a really strong player, right? You want to make sure that you can use as much of your health bar as possible without ever going down. And like you said, calculating that damage means that they never actually died through almost any of these plays.
All these close calls, so close Golden Guardians were to getting some of these kills, and these three clips are not even the grand total of what happened. You know, I can think of the Renata
just Jan and
play
Ayla,
that
right?
came from Ayla flashing forward to save Harry. That was another close call. Harry in the mid lane who just pops his hourglass at the right time for backup to come in. So many close calls happened in that game. It's definitely worth a rewatch for anyone who's an Academy fan.
Yeah, I'm really excited. The fact that there's already so many clips that we couldn't include them all from this bot duo. I'm excited to see later on today how that's going to go on. But we do have to keep in touch with a couple of our other teams as well. I always love checking out the socials and see what's going on. And this tweet from Dignitas, I particularly fond of this one. Look at that style. Look at that flair. Also, look at the intense looks on their faces. I'm looking at the left here. This is a great little team pose, Josie.
Yeah, I just love seeing Dignitas every single time. They have head coach Deos there on the left, and they have some of the best social media presence we've ever seen. Just there in their training facility, you got all the scooters, you got all the zoomers, everybody is ready to go. They'll do the Ginyu Force, they'll do all kinds of flexing things, and I'm excited to see what else they have to go as they scoot aside and scoot right on into the rest of the season.
I'm going to say, Josh, this is actually down bad to me. Because if you're riding a scooter...
Down bad?
Yeah, you're looking at the gas prices. It's $6 to $7. They're actually just going for the scooters to save on that price alone. You can't prove me otherwise.
Oh, see, I was worried you had gone through my Twitter history, because that's a very different kind of...
Oh.
Okay. I want to see the team socials. I don't want to know about. I don't want to know about Yoshi's likes on Twitter. That is, I'm avoiding that one. But do we believe it though? Scooticide, Dignitas here to play with the scooters. I think with that sort of style and flair, that I believe it. Deserx, I believe them.
Man, I just see Deos on a Razor scooter, and all I can think about is my middle school nostalgia, all the memories back then of riding those things and trying to do the little bunny hops. And I gotta pay respect to Deos for picking that specific brand.
To be fair, I see scooters and I'm thinking about all the times I've been hit in the ankles and just the absolute pain that comes from that. Bringing up some painful memories for a lot of people back home, I'm sure. Now, moving forward, scooting along over into the schedule. It's time to see what we do have planned for today. Starting off over on the Academy channel, that's right here, right now. We're going to have 3 fire matchups for you today, starting with Team Liquid, who we've been talking about so much. So we get to start off with them. We don't have to wait long until we get to see them in action. GG, CLG later on with 100 Thieves Immortals to end off the day. And of course, over on our sister channel, Path to LCS, they're going to be having their own fun. So make sure to tune in, keep both the streams open to catch all of these players so you know exactly what's going on. 2-0s across the board yesterday. Have to see if that's maybe a trend that can continue on going into today. As well, if you want to get involved in the conversations, talk about any teams that you're particularly excited for, show us your own scooters. You know, why not? You can make sure to interact with Path to LCS and make sure to follow as well for updates going on into the Academy season. But it's enough. It's time to talk about Team Liquid, Evil Geniuses, going on forward into today's match. This should be really exciting too, and we've talked about it a couple of times, Shoshi, but I'm really excited about this bot lane in particular because this could have a huge impact in this match.
Yeah, we already know we had a bunch of plays coming through from Yon and Ayla, but we've talked about him a little bit in our other games, right? Kaori, one of the strongest bottom laners. He was on our shortlist for most valuable prospect in spring, and we'll see if he can continue rolling that kind of very strong play this time around. And we can see a little bit of it, right? These are some of the plays that we were looking at when we were trying to determine who was going to be your most valuable prospect. And the ability for Kaori to actually start navigating a lot of these fights, his ability to understand when he's allowed to hit and when he's not, is something that is the best in the Academy League, right? He's able to get away from so many of these crucial skill shots and get as much DPS as possible out during every single play.
Yeah, Kaori really does remind me of Luger a little bit, not just because they're both TCL imports, but they're both incredibly gifted mechanical ADCs. He started off pretty spicy yesterday as well, going for the Kalista and Kog'Maw, getting a lot of those hot picks that we've been seeing going around in this new patch, in this new season. So I'm very excited to see him, especially alongside Smoothie, who provides such a voice, who's trying to be a leader for this team of Evil Geniuses. I think it's quite the combo, and they should shape up a lot more as Evil Geniuses do go through the season.
Yeah, definitely a lot of eyes going to be on this bot lane going into today's match, but we do have to give kudos to the rest of the team as well, because some definitely talented players that we have here in Academy across the board. We've talked about the bot lane already. Does there anyone else that you're particularly excited about going into today's match?
I could say Smoothie all over again, but Surdy is someone who I'm definitely interested in. He's had some interesting takes when it comes to the development of the meta, saying that top lane is no longer a carry role to him. It's more about being self-sufficient and focusing on scaling. And I want to see how that's going to carry over from Spring, where he had these very low KDAs, not from a lack of kills. He still garnered up a lot of kills. He was just a very high-depth top laner. So shaping this up with the durability patch, I want to see how Surdy adapts.
Yeah, he was definitely a bit of a flipper in spring. We saw him going for a lot of plays that he kind of felt forced into, and we know that Evil Geniuses has big plans for this player. We know that he has a potential future in the LCS as long as he continues to perform. We've seen him have a lot of success in other sports as well. You know, he used to do a lot of snow sports, and now that he's coming into League of Legends, it's only a matter of time, I think, before we see him move up.
Well, they have a really tough matchup today in Team Liquid. Team Liquid came out here yesterday and had a really good showing. This is a team that did well in the past, Proving Grounds. Across the board, it's been a roster that's stuck together, which has allowed them to really focus on more than just trying to mesh like other teams have been here, especially looking at this bot lane that we have, Joshi, because this has been insane.
Yeah, watching Jan and Ayla continue to play is absolutely gorgeous. We get to see a little bit more of Ayla as one of the big playmaking supports in the League of Legends scene here in North America, just going for a lot of flashy things, using his abilities at the right time, having a lot of patience and not just throwing them out as soon as they come off cooldown. We know that Ayla is going to be good. We've seen it before. He's gotten to multiple finals over in the LCO, and now that he's here, I'm expecting that we're going to see him in multiple finals, not just in Academy, but in LCS.
Ayla is just so amazing. Jan is amazing. They've been this outstanding bot lane that Spawn has just guided towards this light over the past what 2 years of play that these two players have been together. It's been exciting seeing their performance and especially their growth starting over from Spring 21, leading all the way to the Spring 22, and now.
Yeah, it'll be a really fun matchup to watch this because with how this bot duo in Team Liquid has been performing, EG definitely have their work cut out for them, but the rest of the team does too. And I'm curious in terms of expectations that we have for Evil Geniuses headed into this match. What are you looking for, particular Joshi, for them to maybe have an edge over Team Liquid?
Well, it's a really tough task in order to try and take down Team Liquid, right? The players that I think are really going to have to step up, we talked about them before, Carry and Smoothie. We know that on paper, this bot lane is something that should be able to at least challenge Jan and Ayla's dominance in the bottom lane. But yesterday, when they were playing up against Spawn and JJ, a lane that we haven't necessarily known for their very powerful laning phase, they were struggling, and they were getting really strong bottom lanes. We saw Callista paired with Renata, right? You are going to be able to do so much percentage health damage every single auto attack you go in, but when you're not even able to win that 2v2, it asks a lot of questions about whether or not this duo, despite all their experience, if they're going to be pairing well together.
Yeah, Desrex, do you have anything that looking forward into Evil Geniuses that you're particularly keen about needing to see from them for them to maybe have an advantage in this fight?
So, not so much Evil Geniuses. I am interested in the matchup in the jungle when it comes to Tomio and Armeo, but I do want to highlight Armeo a little bit in this one because yesterday his performance actually kind of surprised me. He went onto the Talia and he completely popped off in a style that is not as normal as what he normally does go try to do. He's normally that great enabler, that great neutralizer. He's good at facilitating a lot of these team fights. No, he was the carry on that Talia, and I love seeing it out of Armeo.
Yeah, he's got a reputation similar to Xmithy as a player that I always think of in a very similar vein, right? People think of them as not having hands, and Xmithy unfortunately had a reputation for missing Sejuani ults, but realistically, they were in the right spot almost every single time for all of their plays, and now that Armeo is starting to be a little bit more aggressive and looking for these opportunities, it makes him so much more well-rounded. It makes him a much more dangerous player. But that was just one game that we saw him on the Talia. It's going to be important that he continues making those kind of plays in order to continue growing and proving that he deserves an LCS spot permanently.
I mean, at this point, too, it seems like we're just going through the roster of Team Liquid, like, okay, I'm
They're all
excited for
good.
this person. This person's also doing amazing. So then let's focus and talk a little bit more about Bradley as well, because Bradley was on the list of players to watch. And this matchup against Urdi today over in top lane should also be a lot of fun to watch, especially with how Bradley's been performing Desert.
Yeah, as I said yesterday, Bradley is an expert when it comes to understanding vision, how to play around that vision, and how to play around team fights. He has been explosive in the top side, and he showed that on full display yesterday. You saw that outplay where he got a double kill with about like 50 health left. Bradley is completely a stud and standing opposite to Surdy. I mean, Surdy is someone who, in my opinion, does have some solid potential. Has stepped up when Evil Geniuses have needed him to at times. I think he's going to go head-to-head with Bradley a lot, but I just don't want to see him fall into what we've seen Evil Geniuses do in the past, where it's just like default him on pretty select champions, such as like Renekton and such. Even though he is pretty proficient at those champions, I want to see him be on something that has a little bit more team play in the grand scheme.
Yeah, it's interesting that we kind of talk about the top lane here, because I know that at the end of last split, Bradley was kind of struggling to play a lot of the carry top lanes, right? They actually moved him off to play a little bit more tank, so in the final of Proving Grounds going up against 100 Thieves, but going up against Concept yesterday, we weren't necessarily expecting him to have the stand-up performance where he just kind of ran over Concept in multiple games at that point. Now that he's going up against Surdy, we kind of had Surdy as a little bit tier above Concept, at least in my eyes, in terms of his ability to actually lane, his ability to affect the game, and this is going to be an even tougher challenge for Bradley. But if Bradley plays like he does yesterday, even Surdy that we saw yesterday and saw last season might not be enough to stop him, because as you know, you said, Eric, Surdy's looking more to be self-sufficient in the top lane. He's not necessarily looking to be the kind of carry that he was kind of known for playing last time around. This could be a very different version of the top lane between these two players.
Yeah, well, I want to circle back for a second, because Desrex, you talked for the champions that you don't really want to see Bradley on. What do you want to see then? Because you're like, oh, I don't really like this. Going into draft, I know it's just around the corner, where do you want to see Bradley?
That's definitely a tough one. Like, Gangplank is a very easy answer, and so is Lilia. I believe he's been getting a little bit more hyped on Ornn as of lately, even when people are falling off on tanks. So it's something I would like to see go through. It's something in his solo queues. Karma is another one. I hate to say that. It's more catered towards team play, but it is something that gets banned up a lot in the top side if he wants to facilitate more of that team play. So stepping out from that carry thing is basically what I just wanted. I want to see more experimentation out of him more than anything else.
And we do have to note that yesterday on Twitter, Spawn said that Bradley was going to be on Ornn silent duty today because he was bragging on Twitter.
Oh, okay. So we'll have to keep eyes if that's actually going to come true. But then when we're talking about players that we want to see on any champions, anyone that's, on your wish list here, Joshi, any person in particular that you're like, I would love to see them on this champion, whether it's today or sometime this split.
I mean, I feel like one of the champions that is a little bit underrepresented right now is going to be the Zeri, right? Even on 12-10, they had a little bit of trouble earlier on, and on 12-11, they absolutely explode into the game. But with the way that these team fights are taking a little bit longer, I feel like this is something that we saw a lot of success coming out from Cowrie last split. And of course, if we talk about Zeri, the one player who was first known for seeing his Zeri play, he was the first one to get that pentakill when he was zipping around the entire map. I feel like both these players should be in a spot where they should be comfortable actually bringing it out potentially today. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. A lot of people are thinking Zeri's kind of weak on 12-10, but it's definitely on my wish list as something that I want these players to bring out.
Kind of like if there's a way that they can make it work, even though some people are thinking that Zeri's a little weaker with the durability chatch. That it
the AP build is pretty sick. Just going to throw it out there. 500 damage W's.
For any coaches or anyone out there looking to get Zeri out here, just a little heads up. Joshi knows what you should be doing. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting. But final thoughts then from each of you, real quick, before we head into this. Evil Geniuses, Team Liquid. Can Evil Geniuses take Team Liquid down at this point? Joshi, real quick.
I don't think so. We've seen Team Liquid have so much success. Spawn in their interview said yesterday that he was going to try and smash every team in about 25 minutes. This is a team that is fully equipped to do it, and it's going to be on every other team to prove that they can just last longer than that. We had super short games from them yesterday, 24-28 and 26-32. If teams can start lasting past the 30-minute mark, that's when we could start calling them victories at the very least.
And for me, I still think Team Liquid's going to win, but
no bias.
I do want to see how Evil Geniuses can perform, because this is a new version of Evil Geniuses. SkyTech has been removed, Smoothie's now in. He's supposed to be the leader. He's supposed to be that voice. Can that voice affect this team and bring them up?
Well, it's time to find out. It is time for the champ select as we head into the game. Evil Geniuses, Team Liquid. I'll catch you two later.
All right. Bye, Thank you, Sierra. And now Team Liquid. Evil Geniuses. Don't believe we have the right header right here. Do not worry. Do not worry. It is not Immortals on your screen. This is Team Liquid versus Evil Geniuses as we head into the draft right now.
Yeah, and if anybody can see it, I do want to shout out. CLOL is starting today. We got University of Washington representing the Purple Caster Minions. I was there during 2012 through 2016, but we have to remember that for the very first ever CLOL or North American Collegiate Championship event, UW won. Let's not forget that. iKenny back in the day had a great time, but now CLOL is going on. Make sure you tune into that. We got a lot of strong colleges going through, and Maryville, like we saw in the PGCQs, is going to be playing in those as well. So lots of talent coming up, not only from the amateur, but the collegiate side as well. So, Eric, let's focus back into what we're actually looking at. Bradley's Gangplank already got banned. What?
I got you got to let me bounce off the CLOL thing as well, Josh, because that match that's coming up, you're talking about Maryville, it's a rematch of the Grand Finals. That's coming up at 2 p.m. on CLOL. That's Collegiate League of Legends Championship. So if you're interested in that, support any part of North American infrastructure. You're definitely going to want to see it. But now we can put our attention back onto this match. Bans coming away so far. GP, Wukong, and Karma taking off the Rift. Lilia and Talia not going to see the Rift either.
I'm just sad that the gangplank's taken away from Bradley, right? We were looking at it during Proving Grounds. He was undefeated on the champion. His ability to just consistently find his way into games was second to none. But the Gwen coming through, we know this is something that is incredibly flexible between the teams. Top, jungle, it's even playable in the mid lane in some specific matchups. But this is something that everybody's been kind of jockeying for, right? It's the Gwens, the Wukongs, that everybody really kind of wants to have on their team. Now, the big thing here is that Team Liquid didn't ban Senna this time around like they did yesterday, and that leaves it open as to something that both Jan and Ayla can play. It's got great lethality builds, it's got great Kraken Slayer builds, it's even got a locket build that people can go for if they choose to do it, but instead, it's going to be Armeo picking up Viego.
Yeah, so Viego being picked up by Team Liquid Academy. He is a very strong Viego player, as we saw in the spring split, so this is a lot of comfort for him. Not going to go for any experimentation, as we did see the bans come out. Another pick to go through. Ezreal just being hovered for Team Liquid Academy. Going to go for the lock-in. And Jan, he's been going to that wheelhouse multiple times so far.
Yeah, we know that this has been good. They played it yesterday in their first game, and it was paired with Ayla's Renata, and these champions just have a lot of range that can really poke things around. Now, I'm a little bit surprised to see that the Viego and the Ezreal are getting paired together. They kind of want to play at different ranges a lot of the time, but Team Liquid, they're looking to kind of snowball. They're looking to have these really big spikes around the 20 to around the 20-minute mark to kind of end things, and the Kalista answer coming through is also very surprising to me. It's not something that they had a ton of success on yesterday when they were actually playing up against Dignitas. Spawn and JG aren't known as being as strong of laners as Jan and Ayla.
Yeah, but this is a pretty standard draft for them so far in this new split. This is the exact same spot where they drafted for the Kalista and Renata in that game you just mentioned against Dignitas. So they do have a lot of belief in the spot lane for Smoothie and Kaori to pop off with this. And there is the potential there because the early damage that you get and the teamfight ability that you get from both Renata and Kalista can do a lot of work. Let's see if it is going to pay off. Again, it is Team Liquid over on the red side. Yeah, we do have the headers fixed up now, so everything is correct, and we are solid on the stream as Lulu gets picked up.
Yeah, and I have to say, I kind of like the Kalista Renata. Even if you didn't have success with it yesterday, you need to have confidence in this bottom lane. If you don't have confidence in Kaori and Smoothie, like, what can you really do on this roster? It's built largely around this player, and we know during spring, this roster had a lot of tumultuous inner workings. We know that it wasn't necessarily agreeing with each other all the time, so they brought in a relatively strong leader in Smoothie in order to build them up, have a little bit more shot calling, and improve the laning phase. So if you don't believe in Kaori and Smoothie now, going up against Team Liquid, you're not going to really have a real answer to go for it. And so I really like that they're just kind of throwing the gauntlet right now and forcing Team Liquid to try and answer them and try and survive some of the early onslaught that Kalista brings to the table.
Alright, so the early part of the draft, Evil Geniuses are just going to focus on the bot lane and have that flex. It is completely mirrored by Team Liquid so far, who have done the same exact thing with the Viego. Opposite is the Gwen. Now the ban's coming out. Zoe getting taken away from the mid lane role as we still have the solo lanes available for Team Liquid. The Kindred banned away from Tomio, who has been picking that up as of recently, did play it yesterday.
Yep, we're definitely seeing a little bit more coming through. The Viego, the Wukong are already taken off, and so Tomio's going to have to find something new that he wasn't able to play it last time around. But we are seeing some interesting bans, right? With the Gwen ban already coming through, it is in fact Team Liquid who are banning the Jace away. This was something that Bradley was happy to play into concept in the Gwen matchup, and he did quite well overall. He had a little bit of a mishap at level 1, but other than that, really dominant. So with all these top laners taken off the table, we really might be seeing Bradley go towards the Orin Scion that Spawn was threatening to put him on in the first place.
A lot of that high damage taken off the table, you know. Jace banned away, Fiora taken off the table. Now the next pick comes up for Team Liquid Academy. I'm still waiting for that Orn. I'm still waiting for that to go through over the side on EG. They will have their next 2 picks coming up. So far the Bear being hovered, but flexing it over to the Olaf, which can go in the top lane now, is more popular there.
Definitely is. You see a lot more of this. We saw Surdy play it yesterday. He had some, he kind of ran around a lot. It was a very difficult situation to actually be playing the Olaf into all the ranged champions, trying to find his way in, and even with the Ghost, he wasn't fast enough to actually catch up most of the members of Dignitas. And we'll see, this is kind of a similar situation coming through for Bradley. He's got a lot of ranged champions, a lot of champions that like to dance around him, and if Olaf can't hit, he doesn't do a whole lot, right? Kalista is going to be dancing around, jumping around every single time she hurls a spear, and Bradley needs to try and lock them down, and they don't have a whole lot of that on the rest of the roster. So I really need to see some crowd control coming out from Harry, or it's going to be a really tough lane.
Alright, I like this right here. Graves picked up Tomio. He tends to fight a lot, tends to skirmish a lot, very high KP, especially relative to all the other junglers when it comes to Academy. So the Graves being locked in for Evil Genius Academy being put on Tomio, as well as the mid lane Ari, final lock for EG.
Yep. Curious. I don't think this Kiana is likely to come through. I don't think I've ever seen Harry play it, and instead he's just going to be going back to tried and true on the Victor. But we are right on back to a situation where it feels like Team Liquid a little bit low on crowd control, might have a little bit of trouble locking down all the members of Evil Geniuses, who have, you know, they don't have a ton of crowd control, but you still have the Charm, who can lock down one of these players and kill them basically instantly. And of course you have the knockups and the hostile takeover coming out from the bottom lane. So there's a little bit more for them to do, whereas Team Liquid are a little bit more focused on making sure that Armeo and Bradley have the Lulu steroids to actually run these players down and hopefully actually find some of these kills. So both of these rosters are going to be doing a lot of dancing throughout a lot of these games, and we're going to have to pay attention to can they concaves in order to get their focus fire down.
You know, looking at the bot lane for Evil Geniuses, Renata is a pick that I've been liking so much more and more lately. Just the fact that she has so much offensive utility. You know, you have what you can do in lane with being able to try and save your teammates with the playback, the payback, excuse me.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
there, Sierra. How you doing? Welcome. Suddenly just jumping. That was a little bit of a jump scare right there. You got to calm down. You got to give me a warning if you're going to do that.
Apologies. A little bit of a pause going on, so wanted to hop back into the conversation. You can't get rid of me that easily. How are we feeling? Don't let me interrupt. How are we feeling about this draft that we have going on here? Deserex, you were talking. What's going on?
I was talking about my Renata love, just on the fact that it can be very aggressive in the lane and is still a team fight machine with the hostile takeover.
For sure. It's definitely going to be a big threat coming through for Smoothie. We know this champion is super high win rate in solo queue. We know that they have a ton of ability to help out all of the champions that are going to be auto-attacking, right? You're looking at their Callista. You have the ability to be incredibly aggressive whenever you have the Bellow active, and it's a very easy way for them to run around a huge denial pick, because I guarantee if it wasn't picked up right when it was by the side of Evil Geniuses, Team Liquid would have snatched it up themselves.
Yeah. Good point, because Ayla, we saw the plays that happened in the finals. Ayla was able to pop off on it. Yeah, exactly. But Smoothie on this, I also like Smoothie being on it specifically because it is a playmaking champion and he's in that leadership role. So when he presses that R button, he's also saying go. He's also getting those comms all onto the same page to culminate onto the same champions.
Well, now that we've seen the draft and how it plays out, I asked before we headed into the draft how you felt about Evil Genius's chances going into it. Do we have any second thoughts now that we've seen the draft? Are we a little bit more optimistic? Are we sticking to our guns? Deserex, you're shaking your head over there. Go into it further. It's just Team Liquid just that stacked.
Yeah, that's really what I believe. I mean, everything Joey said right before Joshi said. Wow, I just called you Joey right now.
Let's go, Joey.
Sorry,
Producer shout out.
But I am hearing that the game's ready, Sierra.
Is it? Am I? Yes,
okay.
We do have a game. Let's go. Okay, for real, I will see you two later. Have fun. Let's get this game going.
All right. Thank you, Sierra, and welcome to the Rift. Evil Geniuses Academy versus Team Liquid Academy. And so far, Joshi, what are your thoughts on this patch and the way it's been playing out in Academy? I've been liking the way the fights have been playing out, a lot longer and a lot more decisive based off of the skill expression that you can get from having these longer fights and second rotations.
Yeah, I mean, TL definitely benefited quite a bit from all of the durability changes last patch, right? We saw how long they were able to survive. A number of times they lived with barely any HP. But focusing in on this game, one thing that the durability patch hasn't really changed is the difficulty for Victor to actually play in this matchup, right? You have a lot more agency on the R. You have the Charm. You actually have a bit of crowd control, whereas Harry only really has like defensive tools in order to try and prevent Soligo from jumping in on top of him. So, I mean, we looked at it yesterday, right? Harry was in some really tough matchups. He was definitely in a situation where he was playing like the Azir into the Lucian, and he was still coming out on top anyway. He saw that Choose got multiple kills in the exact same matchup, and Harry was able to come out on top. But I feel like that's more of a testament to how strong of a player Harry is than whether or not he's playing the strongest of champions.
Now, some expectations in the bot lane. Cowrie being on this Callista has played it before. I am more excited to see how Callista play has been popping up. You know, durability patch did add a little bit to Callista because now you're getting more autos in, which means your rend is going to be bigger the longer these fights do get drawn out.
Yeah. Oh.
Ooh, already a pick coming in onto Ayla. Ayla has a long way to go and already has a lot of spears onto him. Cowrie,
Okay.
first blood within a minute 49.
Wow, the uncharacteristic mistake coming through from Ayla, not respecting the Ren damage that Cowrie can't put out, and he ends up just going down. That's one of the small things. Oh, no!
Ooh, the flash coming out of Smoothie. Jan, you should have seen that coming. Ayla's done it too so many times. Jan did see it coming. He bluffed it right in, and they took the bait as Jan will take a kill.
Oh my gosh, fireworks already flying down here in the bottom lane. Jan finds a kill, Cowrie's got a kill, both AD carries right off the bat. But the big thing at the end of the day, we will see that Ayla is going to be coming through. Jan gets to get all of the experience off of this lane, and there's no CS at whatsoever. But Ayla, he just kind of gets caught, right? And as soon as you start getting these spears stacking up, there's not a lot that you can do. He doesn't have the glitter lance available to slow down Cowrie's attack speed, and it just means that Jan is kind of all by himself. But Cowrie makes the exact same mistake on the backside. He doesn't respect how much damage Jan can actually get from this Q. The Q flash coming through perfectly angled. It just feels like Jan is playing in another level.
Jan's so good at this game, this bot lane. Even when they flounder, they're still able to get success. And what an early fight to break out. And it seems like Team Liquid's bot lane, they've just been filled with these early skirmishings at level 1 and level 2. Ayla's about to make sure that stays true as Ayla comes to the mid lane looking to help out Harry. Harry getting the flash out of Saligo, who gets underneath the tower.
And remember we were saying about how Ahri is supposed to have a bit of a better time in this lane? Look at this. Saligo already falling a little bit behind even before the roam comes through. He put 2 points in Q to get a little bit better wave clear, but he's the one still getting his wave push underneath his own turret. And Harry is going to be able to push this in or potentially even freeze. Oh my gosh, Saligo's going to be in such a dangerous position coming up.
Rough for Saligo right here. Laser coming out. Harry just shoving him back. Saligo, a lot of punishment into this lane. And with Saligo, you know, he does have more focus into the mid lane this season. He was trying to take that leadership role last season. Didn't really work out, part of why Smoothie's here. So we're hoping a little bit more focus into that mid lane is going to show some results for him. But look at this coming through. Trying to sneak on in, but nope. Just taking the recall for now. Not going to go for the dive. Minion wave not pushed far enough.
Yeah, and so now we're going to have to pay attention to which bottom lane is actually going to have more success. Both AD carries have picked up a kill, but one of those AD carries is investing their money into a tier for the mana, and another one is choosing to invest into a straight damage now versus damage later. So Jan is going to have an opportunity to kind of try and farm this out, and as long as they don't fall too far behind in this early laning phase, it should still be a win for Jan and Ayla because we know how strong they're going to be in the upcoming mid game. So it's one of those things where I feel like, despite the fact that Ayla made a mistake at the very beginning, we can't really count them out. They're still very happy with their position in the game overall, and it means that when this mid game comes through, when you hit 2 items on the Ezreal and you hit 2 items on the Victor, suddenly Jan and Harry, who are already good laners, are really going to come into their own.
It's all about the camaraderie, Joshi. Jan and Ayla have been together for so long. They got that.
Ayla.
They got that going. That's exactly why Jan got that kill right there. Seeing Ayla go down. Kind of vengeance coming in. Felt it in his heart.
True. You do know, you just do more damage after seeing somebody on your team go down. You also do more damage if you're challenger, but, you know, that's its own thing entirely. So, Team Liquid, we know that they're looking to try and end this. And, oh, I actually had a quote from Spawn, the over-under on how long they thought this entire series was going to be. It was a total of 56 minutes of game time or less. That's 28 minutes per game. We'll see if they can actually hold to it. Because right now, they're going to be giving up the first dragon. That's going to be the first dragon they've given up this entire season. Because they got all of them yesterday.
Oh, they're looking for the challenge. Armeo coming forward, has the stealth, has the backup of Ayla. There's the control ward.
No smite.
But this is priority right here. Saligo got it in the mid lane, acquired by Cowrie in the bot lane. They can't collapse onto that area first strike to Evil Geniuses.
Yep. Oh, Harry just going to use this. You do this all the time as Victor. You just throw down an ultimate or to buy yourself a back timer. But Armeo is coming through. He's got a small window. I don't know if EG knows there. They do now.
Going towards Tomio. It's just going to be a meeting over at the Scuttle Crab. Really, Armeo can't do too much because of the priority in both of these lanes. You have the reset going on in the mid lane, but the big thing is Cowrie and Smoothie have been pushing up aggressively. If he commits too much, they will rotate over there and take him down. But are you real? Are you real right now? Armeo just takes it.
That was a little corny between the two junglers. We know that Armeo has been very good. I liked what they had to say about their previous matchup, right? When they were asked, how do you feel about your matchup against Golden Guardians? They're like, well, we beat them before, we'll beat them again. And I feel like this has to be the same kind of mentality coming through. Armeo just, yeah, we'll beat them again. We'll just go for a little bit of a flip on this Scuttle Crab. Just an extra 70 gold that goes over to Armeo, and that's the kind of confidence you like to see. Exactly. Now, Cowrie and Smoothie, both a little bit low. Excuse me, Yon and Smoothie. Different characters, different players. Turns out.
Turns out. Yon backs up off of that one, so it's just Alo.
What is Yon doing?
And
he's going to go get fruit!
He tried to get fruit. He tried to get fruit, and
he's so greedy!
He just stole
That's
his lunch
so
money.
greedy!
He just stole his lunch money, man.
Oh my god. Okay, so Ligo, you know you can't walk over that. They absolutely saw you. But it's still going to be enough. They're still going to be pushing them off. Wait, Smoothie!
Right, Smoothie a little bit too close.
Oh
no,
my!
No, Smoothie!
They can't keep getting away with it, Eric! They can't! Are you kidding me?
Smoothie
ended up taking a turn shot. Oh my gosh, it feels like the fear aura from Team Liquid that we were talking about is just coming through once again. Armeo is taking control up here in the top lane, but that's a small mistake that you can't afford to make against the best teams that are in the league. Bradley is also having a good time up here in the top, and we haven't even talked about him, but he's taking a couple turret shots. Unfortunately for Surdy, they don't kill him.
Not Bradley. A great time.
Okay.
A great time to be had in the bottom lane between these two ADCs. Interesting move there with the Arcane Shift. Not even Arcane Shift. It was the True Shot Barrage Flash that stayed in the former spot he was. Now Cowrie back to the laning states. This is a bloodthirsty bot lane, Joshi. I've never seen it happen this often before.
Yeah, well, it's something that you know. Cowrie and Smoothie have to try and find a lead for their team, right? Because Surdy's starting to fall behind. The mid lane, you can expect Harry to always have these laning advantages. You gotta allow one of the potential most valuable prospects in the academy. You gotta give him the tools necessary to try and actually carry the game. And so, if that means flipping a lot of this early lane up against Yon and Ayla, well, that's what you gotta do. Now, as they start moving around, we can kind of expect that Yon is going to be a little bit more at risk. But Ayla caught again!
Charm lands right onto Ayla with a death brush, and dead to rights. Goes to Smoothie, who's going to grab the kill. Didn't even donate that to Sligo.
Yeah, well, it's alright. At the end of the day, you still get another kill. That's still going to be Ayla taken off the map a second time, and he's died twice now with his flash up. I feel like he might not be quite as on today as he was yesterday, but Team Liquid are still in the lead, right? They still have a small advantage. They are still going to be going into the mid game with this huge potential power spike, and again, as long as they aren't too far behind, they should realistically be winning for a lot of these upcoming plays. So we'll see if Team Liquid feels strong enough to even play for this upcoming dragon. Because remember, yesterday, they gave up 0 dragons. Today, they've already given up the first one.
I was waiting for the BM interruption of the recall that we've been seeing all day one, but not going to happen. Not gonna happen. Yeah, it's been just reoccurring, along with hands being a reoccurring thing, and how much these teams like to scrap in this current meta.
Sure.
In this current meta, yeah, they've been scrapping a lot, Josh.
Yeah, for some reason when I said hand, not when you said hands, when I said hands, I pictured like a ham, but, you know, we'll get back to that in a little bit. Bradley actually changed a step in the top lane. He needs to make sure this actually crashes if you want to try and participate in the upcoming dragon fight. But Team Liquid are getting their resets in. They do have Harry on a completed item. He has the Leandres ready to go for the upcoming play, but Armeo's already in position.
Ooh, gets the stun, and the polymorph puts Carry down. There's nothing Cowrie can do about that one. Being able to take it will be Armeo, giving the kill right over to Yon. Very simple play using that Fog of War.
Yeah, and we know Bradley, he was overextended a little bit yesterday in a very similar position, but this time, Tomio was behind him.
And here comes Tomio. There's the Ghost popped as going to return fire with a couple of axes, now backing right out. He's getting good chunks of damage onto Tomio and kind of giving a little bit of disrespect as Tomio's forced to walk out. Tomio just going to loop it, but this is going to cause Armeo to go right after the Drake.
True, and it's a bit of a motif that we saw yesterday, whether or not Bradley was overextended when the rest of his team was doing something on the map, right? Armeo is going to be able to get the dragon by himself, and Bradley did a good job. 2 of the 3 times where he was potentially at risk, he survived, but one of them, he was a bit too far forward and ends up going down. This time not making the same mistake, but, you know, Olaf getting a 10 CS lead over Gwen is maybe not enough. Right? We know that this Olaf really spikes early on, sometimes earlier in the mid game, and he's behind. Oh, there is a 5-level difference between Harry and Smoothie there. Did you see that?
Wait, oh
5
my
levels.
Goodness. 5
It's now 4, but both these supports giving up so much for the rest of their team. But I feel like we're about to go into a bit of a slower part of the game, right? There's no Herald to fight over. We got 4 wins until the next dragon. So what do we got instead?
We just got pretty passive lane states after what was a pretty bloody start to everything, and people just waiting for those team fight timers, Josh. You know the word, team fight timer, 4
Team
minutes
fight timer,
until
4 minutes.
you get that Drake up. So mostly, we're just going to coast by.
Goes by. So, I feel like this is a... Oh!
We're not coasting! We're not coasting at all! No,
We're not
it's
coasting
not
at all!
Coast, we're fighting now! Blood going down in the top lane as Bradley tries to get the 1v1 on Surdy. Doesn't happen, gets cut down by Surdy. An uncharacteristic mistake out of him, but big out of Surdy as we've been hoping to make these plays over on the top side.
Yeah, we didn't see how the fight actually started, but we knew that Soligo was going to start looking for these charms onto Victor. We said that he had the extra ability to be aggressive, and that's a flash coming through from Harry, but okay, Surdy.
Well, at least he got that final plate before Armeo showed up. Gonna be cashing for Armeo, quite easy to pick up here. There's nothing Surdy can do, but now on the bottom side, hostile takeover goes off. It's gonna land on the Harry, but not do too much there. Yon's gonna flash forward, looking for Tomio. Gets a couple more Mystic shots in, but not gonna be anything significant, just pushing the wave and getting the rotation.
Kill goes over to Armeo, kill goes over to Surdy at the end of the day. Lots of flashes blown, and I feel like that's going to have more of an impact on the upcoming fight than it will on the rest of the potential game. But Armeo has to be a little careful. He does have his smite, so he should be able to get this. Yes, he does. And with about 2.5 minutes left before the upcoming dragon fight actually occurs, we'll have to note that a bunch of flashes, a bunch of summoners are going to be down, right? Smoothie's not going to have his. Suddenly he becomes a target. Harry doesn't have his. He's going to be a target. Ayla and Armeo should have it back before the actual fight starts. But when we already talk about how much power Soligo has in these upcoming team fights with his charm, he can be incredibly impactful with choosing the right targets and actually landing that skill shot. So as we start getting closer, start paying more attention to the mid laner here for Evil Geniuses.
This is a tricky thing to land that skill shot. Charm, especially in these big team fights when you have a priority target out of 5 people. That is not exactly easy to pull off. I want to see what happened over on this top side in 1v1. It was just raw 1v1.
Yeah, just raw damage. That's some of the experience coming out in the top lane coming from Surdy relative to Bradley, right? Bradley lane swapping from the mid lane to the top lane last year. Yesterday, he looked like he had figured out a lot of the laning phase going up against Concept, but today, Surdy is ready to prove that having the experience in this lane is going to be more valuable at the end of the day. So Team Liquid trying to get some vision control around this actual dragon in the next couple minutes, but we're still going to have to wait and see how these teams are going to choose to set up. Team Liquid want to find a fight first.
Oh, they're going right away as they get the stun on the Smoothie. He takes a lot of damage. Remember, he is level 6, so these numbers are doing work. Look at Harry, who's level 11 in the face of Smoothie. There's the payback, but there's no one to go down. There's no assist to be had. Harry will grab a kill, and it's a minute 10 before the dragon does spawn. Team Liquid are able to get it.
And remember what we said about champions who are missing their flashes? Yeah, Smoothie's the one who ends up going down in that last play, right? He didn't have a flash, he couldn't get out, and Team Liquid looking to prey on it by going for the fight early. That's something that we didn't see from Team Liquid nearly as often last split. But now, this new version of Team Liquid that's trying to end the games rather early, that can happen. He's looking for Surdy now.
On to Surdy. Surdy over the wall now. Ayla getting collapsed on by Tomei, who jumps forward. End of the line. Gets a good chunk of damage on, but it's not enough to put Ayla anywhere near the danger zone.
Herald.
Ayla just eats up a couple of fruits.
Cowrie's not here.
Health goes up. Cowrie nowhere near. And this is why Team Liquid might have a fighting chance to go for this one as they start going after Smoothie. They find one as Jan leading the charge onto Smoothie and onto Soligo. It's going to chase away the rest of Evil Geniuses and guarantee that Team Liquid grab this Herald.
Wow, that's crazy confidence coming through from Jan. Just going over the wall, knowing that he's going to be dodging the charm. There's no way that he ends up going down. But at the same time, they're trading this turret for the actual Herald. Cowie's going to get a lot of money, but he doesn't have the opportunity to spend it if Team Liquid try and force the issue around this dragon. That's a whole BF sword sitting in his inventory. And Team Liquid can't just start it up right away. They know Cowie's on a back timer. Do they want to provide for it?
You can see right now that the reset has come out. Both Armeo, Ayla, Bradley over in the bottom lane, headed towards that dragon as Harry gets control into the mid lane. So there is no point for Evil Geniuses to go in. They've lost the vision, they've lost the priority. This dragon belongs to TL.
That's good stuff coming through from Team Liquid, knowing that even with the late rotation to the dragon, they were still going to be faster than Evil Geniuses. Harry controlling the mid lane, making sure that nobody can come from there, and then Cowrie just, he chooses to pick up the turret for the Rift Herald, but it will end up being a bit of a neutral trade you have to expect when Armeo actually drops it, and this is the kind of control that I love seeing from the more experienced teams. A conversation that we had last season about CLG and why they were having so much success was they were a team that had a lot of veterans on it. They didn't have to do all the, this is how you play the level 1, this is how you do your first couple of waves. They were able to start formulating plans instead of just going through all the fundamentals, and that is exactly why Team Liquid look to be in control of this game, even if it hasn't ballooned into a gold lead yet.
It's cheating, man. It's taking an AP class in high school. Now here's Tomio looking to go after Jan. Misses the collateral damage altogether.
And the Q.
Jan just casually walks out.
Okay, Jan. The movement coming out from Jan this season so far has been incredibly clean. Dodges everything, dodges the charm from Soligo, dodges all of Tomio's skill shots. Now Armeo, gonna take a little bit of damage, but he's in control of this top side of the map. But what do they want to actually do with it?
No, there's not much to fight over here, not much to contest over here. Really, Team Liquid would just be catching out Evil Geniuses in rotation, so now it's focusing towards this mid lane. Let's see if they go for a siege here. Yeah, looking to start it up. Jan autoing away. There goes the Rift Herald.
Remember what we said about the Rift Herald as well, getting the turret for the Rift Herald, and it ends up being a bit of a wash because the Rift Herald does just get traded for a turret right now here in the mid lane. Opens up the middle of the map, allowing Armeo and Bradley to chase people down a little bit more aggressively. So, it definitely feels as though Team Liquid, while they haven't ballooned the game just quite yet, are a little bit in control.
Sliding in the bush. A little bonk, a little surprise. They're going for the jump scares. I'm still waiting for that to happen where we get like an LCS team comm where someone comes out of the bush out of nowhere and you just hear a scream on the mic.
Dude, it's like playing with Mark. Oh! Dodge the
Here
charm.
Spirit Rush comes out looking for more. The charm not going to land. Harry too good with the fancy feet.
Did you see that patience coming out from this man as well? Soligo waiting so long to actually throw out the charm, and Harry, he knew what the animation was, but now he's got to be careful.
Harry! He's sidestepping everything from day 1 all the way to day 2. You cannot catch this man.
Jeez, it just feels like Team Liquid are toying with their food almost at this point.
Oh, they
okay.
definitely are.
Well, that has to be really tough. Like, as a player, when you do that kind of thing and your opponent just brutally outplays you, somebody who already is kind of expecting to be one of the best mid laners in the league, and he just outplays you like that, you just sit there and you're like, man, what do we do? And so something that we know Evil Geniuses was kind of struggling with was the mental fortitude in Spring. But Smoothie, the leader that we were talking about earlier, needs to come through and rally the troops. He needs to make sure that they are actually able to play the rest of this game out, because we've been saying Team Liquid's in control, but they're not that far ahead, right? They still haven't hit their 2-item power spikes.
Oh, they finally got a charm on Harry. All right, Evil Geniuses, it's a step forward. Soligo's still going to chase this out to try and clear the wave and make sure that Harry doesn't push this anymore. My goodness.
Bradley gets it.
My goodness. All right, another charm from Soligo, who's just basically trying to chase away. This is taking out a lot of your frustrations onto the bot lane. Just sending Ayla back, sending Harry back. But look at Surdy on the split push over on the bot side.
Yeah. I mean, Surdy, we talked about him earlier, right? He's a relatively veteran. We know that Evil Geniuses has plans for this guy. He's, doing a pretty decent job, actually creating pressure on the map, getting the solo kill against Bradley, and then trying to get damage on these turrets. But, who is this? Oh, it's Viego? Soligo should just leave.
Yeah, Soligo has the Spirit Rush. No problem to leave there. But that is Spirit Rush just down. Still saving the... overall effective when it comes to the game state, because we still have 50 seconds until that Drake will spawn.
Yeah, and this is when Team Liquid really thrived in spring, right? When they were getting ready for all of these objectives. They would get there first, they would make sure they had control of all of the choke points and just dare their opponents to walk through. Now they have the Victor, and they're actually choosing to go for something a little bit different. They're taking control of the top side of the map. I don't imagine they'd try and go for a Baron, but I've seen crazier things.
Just hovering on this rotation towards the mid lane. Seems like they do want to go for the Drake on this one, and Evil Geniuses are not going for that inside track, paying a lot more respect to try and just establish vision inside of their jungle. You do see the wraparound that's kind of coming from Smoothie, who's trying to get that deep vision in. Would be a position for a flank coming out from Surdy on top of the hostile takeover.
Yeah, but Bradley's even counter-flanking can potentially mark Surdy as they try and walk in, so Evil Genius are going to struggle to walk through it. Look at the teleport coming through from Soligo. They're going to try and contest this anyway.
They're going for it. No Spirit Rush from Soligo because that was burnt earlier. It is just coming off cooldown. Okay, he is going to have it for this fight now. Here comes the contention. Hostile takeover going to land onto nothing. Bradley couldn't even get into melee range. Tomio tries to run on out, use the collateral damage to build some room. But here comes Soligo onto the flank. They're trying to find Harry. Harry falls low, finally falls. The Ren's able to do it. Cowrie grabs the kill. Jan on the run. Cowrie chasing him down. Ayla's able to flash over the wall with a slither of health and will remain alive. Now Bradley chasing 4 members of Evil Geniuses as he sees the health bars getting lower. Jan with a mystic shot. Armeo will chase down Tomio and get a kill, but a beautiful advancement coming out from Soligo. Grabs another one with a double kill coming out from Cowrie to take it right back to Team Liquid.
A huge flank coming through once again from Evil Geniuses, upsetting the balance of power. Now Cowrie trying to find even more, but at the end of the day, the kills are 2 for 3. Team Liquid still walk away with the bigger prize. They walk away with the dragon, and now Armeo, if he ends up catching out Cowrie, I don't even know if he can kill him, right? He's got the damage, but he won't be able to actually have the staking power, but he's going to try and do it anyway. The teleport comes through.
Yeah, he does have backup in a teleport. Did he not notice Cowrie in that one?
He might have.
I want to know the angle for that. I wasn't
They're
sure about
hunting.
the Fog of War. They are looking to that area. No, the focus was on to Surdy over here. Terry's going to go right after him. Gwen is immune, but not immune for long. Terry waits, bides his time, uses those cooldowns, and will put down Surdy in the spot lane.
That's the second time that we've seen the mistake from Surdy, right? Overextending. He killed Bradley previously. This time he tried to get the bot lane turret, and he just overstays his welcome. Team Liquid, once again, with a bit of control over on the map. Harry looking for his opportunity to just, like, push this out and potentially regroup with the rest of the team. But we are rapidly approaching. Remember what Spawn said, 28 minutes each game. If we actually hit the next dragon, we will be at just about 27 minutes. We'll take a look at this replay. Watch the handshake actually coming up from Smoothie, because that's the big difference maker in this fight, right? He lands it, and then he gets a 3-man stun onto both major carries, right? Jan and Ayla suddenly caught, not able to do nearly as much damage. And because of that, when you don't have your damage core, you're not able to make your concave like we talked about at the beginning of the game. They just kind of run for the hills, and even though Armeo is able to pick up something at the end, the only other thing we got to see is the charm finally lands onto Jan. We said Soligo needed to be big with these charms. We said he needed to hit his crowd control in order to actually land it, and finally, he lands one that matters.
Not just that, if you saw on the back end of that, Smoothie's handshake is what set up that charm. So the follow-through from both Soligo and Smoothie to be on that same page, you know, finally starting to see that synergy start to click for Evil Geniuses.
See if it can be enough as Team Liquid now considering the Baron, thinking about whether or not they want to do it. Ayla not going to be sweeping out the ward, it appears. And this is the big part of the game that Team Liquid are supposed to be really strong, right? They are on 2 items on the Victor. The Demonic Embrace has been completed. Team Liquid also have Jan's Muramana and Trinity Force done. This is when they are supposed to be at their strongest, and so this is when they're going to try and force a fight. They're going to look at this next dragon. They're definitely going to go for it, but they might even be able to take things outside of that.
One of the problems we had last split with Surdy was overextensions and teams being able to punish that. It's about to happen again. We saw him die earlier. He was the last death of the game. Now jumping and collapsing onto Surdy, so close to taking him down. The last hammer doesn't do its job, but still bleeds out nonetheless. Bradley grabs the kill.
Good stuff coming through. Yeah, they're catching out Surdy one more time. This can't be a trend that is going to continue, right? It's one of the big reasons why Team Liquid have this small advantage that they do. And so with only a minute and a half left before the upcoming dragon, Team Liquid didn't really have to use anything in order to pick that up. They still have their top lane turret, they still have their mid lane turret, they still have a lot of map control, and right about now, they're probably going to clear out a couple of these waves, get a reset in if anybody of them are sitting on gold, and then they can just go back and rinse and repeat the exact same play they were looking for. It's on EG to try and upset that balance of power.
We'll see if EG can play around Surdy a little bit more to actually enable the split push to be successful, because to apply pressure into that bottom lane, you know, the pressure has to be applied elsewhere as well, so Team Liquid can't do that collapse onto him. You know, it's a shame he's gone down twice so far in the last 2 deaths, caught out in that side lane, and now Team Liquid have been taking such a strong advantage of it. They got priority onto this Drake, and they will be the first one with more friends nearby the dragon.
There you go. You always just want to count the number of friends that you have, and so far, Team Liquid have 4 of them, plus themselves. That makes 5. Math is easy. But remember what we also saw last time. The teleport ward is available from Saligo. They don't see it on Team Liquid right now, so they're trying to take control of the choke points, make sure people can't come in. But Saligo gets another flank off. He can upset the balance of power. Smoothie had a big handshake, and it feels like Evil Geniuses are doing what they can in order to make sure that it's not just a strict front to back. Team Liquid can't make an easy concave.
Cowrie has been kind of sneaking up in this game. 4-2-0 scoreline. Does have a CS lead against Jan. So 3 items completed on top of that. Now
hostile
the
takeover
started over here. Big target.
That's
Cloud. Cowrie who's able to back up, going after Tomio. Tomio gets taken down. Bradley still going right after, and the polymorph stops Cowrie completely. Taking down that priority target. Team Liquid are going to continue the chase by putting a teleport into the mid lane. Here's a hard flank on your escape route as Harry has arrived. Goes right after Smoothie and takes a big gulp. Goes right after Sligo, drops him to the ground. Jan grabs that kill. Bradley tries to get away, but Surdy will pick up just 1 for himself, but it's just a scrap compared to what Team Liquid have acquired.
Team Liquid have gotten everything they could ask for. They got the Cloud Soul. They got 5 for 1. Bradley ends up going down. But when we finally get a replay, you were looking at the bottom side of the fight. We got to praise Jan for his ability to stay alive as well. Evil Geniuses, they tried to force the issue. They tried to split up Team Liquid, but when your members are as good as these guys, it doesn't matter if you're split up. You're still going to be able to find the win anyway. So 6,000 gold lead. It's 28 minutes now. Spawn said the game might be over, but they have finally taken control of the game.
All right. That just means basically that next game has to be even faster, right? As we take another look at that dragon.
Watch Jan. Yeah, he got hit by the hostile takeover. He just sprinted his way over towards the rest of Evil Geniuses, but he dodges everything. He gets out of the handshake. He dodges the charm. He even only takes the slow from the Everfrost at the end. The movement on this guy is too clean, and he was getting run down by a lot of angry Evil Geniuses members, but he's able to keep himself alive. He's going to be able to have the damage for the Baron, and they get everything.
And he's not done. Jan on the front line has the Lulu ult to provide some additional health, additional defenses after Tomio. He's going to use the Blast Plant, but one more auto catches him in the sky. Pull and a kill. Missing barely with the True Shot Barrage, but that's okay. I'll chase it down myself. Nope. Smoothie takes the smart path, dodges the Mystic Shot, but it's another tower down. Knock, knock. It's Team Liquid at your base.
Okay, yeah, they're going to be taking this down. They might actually be able to end the game here. Bradley's bringing another wave down in the bottom side, and he can just run through these turrets if he chooses to, but we'll see if Team Liquid want to play it quickly or slowly. They're trying to impress all of the LCS scouts, and a way to do it is just ending the game.
Going for the end right now. Here comes the hostile takeover. Not gonna land onto anything.
Not hostile
and
enough.
Nexus Tower #1 down, but they only have a cannon creep, which doesn't have the range to get close enough for them to be able to auto, so they're gonna put their attention onto the bot lane, continue the siege.
Okay, everybody's back up. Evil Geniuses are going to have to mount a desperate defense. Teleport comes out. Surdy's on the backside.
Oh, they're committing to this one. Evil Geniuses now going for the flank with Surdy. Walking forward. Here comes the True Shot Barrage, only going to land on the one. Sligo on the flank, but Team Liquid are going to push the front line, taking down Smoothie once again. They're going to take down the entire bot lane of Evil Geniuses. Tomio gets chased down by Harry. It's 4 fallen, and Surdy, the last one to survive, going to be chased down and axed by Bradley.
Come here, boy.
Stud in the top side. Gonna put Layla there just for the fish bait, just to try and say, hey, come take a little bit more. But the only thing gonna be acquired for Surdy is death. Acquired for Team Liquid, however, a victory.
There you go. 30 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. Oh! They gotta kill Smoothie too.
No.
They gotta get him.
No, don't do it again. Don't do it again. You're bullying the boy.
There we go. 30 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock there for Team Liquid. Great stuff coming through. They were looking absolutely stellar throughout this entire game. It was a little bit rocky at the very beginning when Kaori was able to catch out Ayla, but ever since then it felt like it was just a slow, inexorable march towards Team Liquid taking control.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, the bot lane of Evil Geniuses, Cowrie and Smoothie are hyped up for a reason, and those early stages kind of did show you why with the aggression that they brought to Yon and Ayla. But they got hands, they got mechanics, and Yon, with some of these outplays, it was some brilliant stuff, especially Harry. Harry, my god, the guy, if that bot lane has hands, Harry has feet. A brilliant game one to see unfold. We're going to throw it over a short break because we need our host back with us. Be sure to stay tuned. There's going to be more action coming.